Hey guys, it's officially a Maryland takeover. So you know what that means. Lots of crab cakes and football.
Oh, okay.
Yo, my man Logic is in the building. Welcome back, bro.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
It's album week.
Yes, it is.
You are just days away from the album. What is the name of this album?
Under Pressure.
It was a rhetorical question, but I wanted to let him get his album off.
Thank you.
It comes out this Tuesday. I have to say, it's very cool watching your whole thing unfold. We did the interview about a year ago, whatever that was.
Yeah.
But I probably first saw you about a year before that.
Yes. Doing
videos on campus at the University of Maryland, my alma mater. And now here we are. You've done multiple tours. Buzz has continued to build. What does it feel like to be sitting on the precipice? This is it. Like Tuesday, it happens.
I know, man. It feels like I need to work harder. I think a lot of artists can get in where I am right now, or maybe even not even achieve some of the things I already have and become complacent. So for me, it's like the fact that I'm in this building right now, that we're having this interview,
and it's not your first time.
Yeah, you're right. But it lets me know like I'm doing the right thing. You know what I'm saying? Like my name is relevant in hip hop and growing every day. So I'm just excited. I'm happy, but I just want to work harder, continue to work hard.
What about, have you ever considered being a worse person? Maybe you're too nice.
I know, you always say this. You're the only person, so I show up early, I shake people's hands, I ask them how they're doing.
You do.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's me, and I feel like I'd rather be hated for who I am than loved for who I'm not.
I didn't even think I told you this the last time, although maybe I did. The honest to God's truth is that when I'd only met you briefly, and we'd communicated, we talked on the phone, and whatever, I, early on, when people would be like, what do you think of Logic? I swear, I was like, yo, he's nice, but something's going on with that dude.
I think everybody,
he's the devil.
I think
he's
everybody,
too nice.
Too nice. I think everybody thinks that, like maybe at first, but now it's getting around that like, yo, Logic is generally a good dude. You know what I'm saying? Like in it, like fam, like all, it's a small business. Like that's just me. I think it's from so much negativity that I grew up around. Like I said, from my brothers hustling in the streets to my dad, smoking crack to my mom on drugs and like all these different things, or getting beat by men. Like I would see this and be like, yeah, this is what I'm not supposed to do.
Well, it's funny. I just had that conversation with Ebro about you. We were talking about it, and I was like, well, you have to understand this about his background, is that he was around a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
You alluded to it in your BET Hip Hop Awards Cypher Freestyle.
Yeah, I did.
About how it's like you have to mention these things.
Yeah.
If for nothing else, for people to like think that you're worthy of the position,
which is so ignorant that like I have to like tell you that I've been around murderers and killers and drug dealers, and that I know how to cook crack because I was taught at 12 years old to get credibility. Like that's weird. That's really weird to me. That's why I love Gambino so much. Like, dude, he's incredible. Like he's just himself. People can say whatever they want. Like that's my homie. Him, fam, all, like that whole team. They're just
they're real. They're real people.
Exactly. And he's him. He's one of those people I'd rather be hated for who I am than loved for who I'm not. And so like I look at him and I'll be inspired even more to be myself and be like, screw everybody. You know what I mean?
But it's funny. But you guys also have different approaches. Gambino is like, listen, he's generally a happy person, but Definitely. He also has his dark moments where he gets affected, I think, by the overall perception people have of him.
I think that makes his music better too.
But it does. But that's the thing. It's sort of part of what the crap. You see it with guys like Wale too. Sometimes those things it affects in what makes them good. I asked you about Wale last time. Have you guys connected?
We still haven't met yet, dude.
I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
I know, it's so crazy. Like you're
never in you're probably not in Maryland really ever.
But neither is he.
And neither is he.
Yeah. So, but I mean, he's like when I got my deal and different things like that, he'll hit me on Twitter and like congratulate me. Like he's a very good dude. So, shout out to him. Yeah, we still haven't met yet. It's
we got to say now. What was the experience like of the BET Hip Hop Awards? And what I most mean by that is, it was sort of your first foray. Maybe not your first. I don't know, but your biggest foray into the BET universe.
Of course, 100%.
Different viewership.
Of course.
What was the reaction like?
It was amazing. It was incredible. Well, first and foremost, like I was supposed to do it last year, but I was on tour with Kid Cudi, which I think is a hell of a reason not to be able to do it.
Reason.
Yeah. So, to finally be able to go and I feel like do my thing, you know what I mean? It was incredible. But my most favorite part of that, the raps were cool, meeting everybody was cool, is meeting Primo, dude.
Oh, you hadn't met Primo before?
Never, bro. And he knew who I was. I was like, oh shit. I was like, man, this is crazy. No, but I didn't know. I don't know. I just shook his hand. I was like, oh, I'm a big fan. He's like, man, I saw you on Sway. I saw that. I was like, oh shit, let me get a beat.
It's really good. It's really awesome that you don't expect people to know you. I think that's a great trait to have.
It's part of being nice, dude.
It's a part
of being a really good fucking dude.
Just being a nice ass bro. Yeah. Now, what about? Are you still like you don't drink?
Don't drink, don't smoke. But I'm not straight edge, bro. Like that's the biggest thing I always say. If I wanted to smoke a blunt right now, I would smoke a blunt. I would. It's just, for me, it
hasn't been what you've wanted to do thus far.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I used to smoke all the time, and I drink and stuff. When I was a teenager, when I was dumb, running around in the streets of Maryland with all my homies, like, you know, like legit, man. So, but me, I don't know. It doesn't interest me.
What movie theater was your movie theater of choice in Montgomery County?
Oh man, Rio, I think it was called. No, well, there was Rio, but no, the Regal in Rockville. I love that one.
Good man.
Yeah.
Good man. I mean, listen, Regal.
Yeah, the Regal.
No, Rio's fine. Listen, this is going to be lost on a lot of people, but shout out to everyone who's from Montgomery County.
Indeed.
You know, I'm from Chevy Chase, Maryland. The way we look, the further north you are in Montgomery County, the more I look down my nose. Like, my wife is from Gaithersburg, Jay. She's from Durwood, which is like by Omi. I mean, she gets it from me all the time. We looked at, because in Chevy Chase we're the closest to DC.
True.
So we look down our noses at everyone the further away you are.
That's funny.
And Rio was like a bit of a trek for the movie theater. That was like going out like 20 minutes. Actually, I'm going home tomorrow.
Oh, really?
I am gonna go home.
Enjoy it.
Now, let's play a song or two.
Okay.
Off the album.
Yes.
You want to play Under Pressure?
I would love to play Under Pressure.
And let's play the Gambino joint.
Definitely, of course.
Is that on the album as well?
That's on the deluxe.
It's on the deluxe.
It's on the deluxe. Yeah, he was really cool about that too. Because I remember I sent him that record, just on some homie shit. Like, yo, I made this fucking really cool record. I think you might enjoy it. Like, just as a fan, you know. Like, here you go. And he hits me back. He's like, this is really good. He's like, this shit is crazy. I'm laughing at how good it is. And I was like, wow. Because I'm still, sometimes I think it's weird that we're homies and I'm still like such a fan of him. And he was like, I was like, well, you can get on it if you want. And it was like this big thing, because I knew he wanted to do it, but I felt bad because I didn't want any features on my album. And there was no ego thing, there was no nothing like that. He was like, if you want to Illmatic it, you know, for better or less, then do that, man. I don't have a problem. I could be on the, you know, on the deluxe. But the deluxe, everybody's getting the deluxe anyway, so it's not like, oh, he wasn't good enough for the album. He was great for the album, and I think he's even better because he understood. The same thing with Sean. Sean was cool about that too.
Sean?
Yeah, Big Sean. To just, I don't know, give me my freedom and let me do what I want. No ego.
Not feel like I need what I need. If you're gonna do it, it better be a single.
Exactly. Yeah.
So the album, the not the deluxe version, the regular version of the album, has no features. No features. Yeah. The reason I chose that, and like I said, super air quotes on the Illmatic, by no means is it in that light, in that shadow. Like, this is a Logic album. This is not anybody else's album. This is not to be compared to anybody else's album. This is my sound, my story. What he's saying also is, please don't try to compare me to Nas.
Definitely don't. Yeah, no, 100%. It's good. Yeah, no, I'm straight.
Listen.
I'm Logic. It's just Logic.
It's just Logic.
It's just Logic. Yeah. Nah, but yeah. So I wanted to tell my story. I think that's the thing, man. I think people are like, oh, this guy's so nice and he's so this and he's so that, but it's like they don't know my story because I'm such a fan of Big L and, you know, Big Daddy Kane and like all these people. So that's what I came up on. So my whole style for the mixtapes was like, my style's better than you, I can flow better than you, I'm this, I'm that. That fun, you know, gift to gab braggadociousness that hip hop was founded on by the original MCs representing their DJs. So like, and eventually themselves. So for me, I only peppered my story into the mixtapes, only a little bit here on Dead Presidents 3 or on Dear God or this or that. So for this album, I wanted to truly take you there. I feel like on the mixtapes I told you, but on the album I'm showing you. And I think I was not scared, but I was afraid that people wouldn't believe the authenticity because like I'm from Maryland. I'm from Section 8 low-income housing. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like, that's the weird thing about Maryland. You drive down the street and you could pass multi-million-dollar homes, and then a mile later, it's like this really horrible area. That's what's crazy.
And when I've talked about you before, and people, I'll say about Gaithersburg. Like Gaithersburg has very nice places that are utterly suburbs and you would know nothing about any hard life.
Yeah.
And Gaithersburg's the one spot where there's Section 8 housing.
Yes.
Not the one spot.
But yes.
But there's Section 8 housing and there's some, you know, some people that when you're out at night, you're like, there's a little bit of a scene out here. You know what I'm saying? Like, that does exist in Gaithersburg, like it does in many places around the country that are not in major cities, but a lot of times, like Gaithersburg, are near major cities.
Yeah, but 20 minutes away. And the crazy thing about Maryland is there's mandatory Section 8 low-income housing. So it's like, say you're in a really good neighborhood. I mean, but say you're in a really good neighborhood. you're like they have to have low income housing there, and sometimes with low income housing, you know, can come crime and these other things like that. So it's crazy. But I mean, for me, it was my family. So it was like my family were the ones who were doing these things.
The worst influences were the ones right around
exactly. You know what I'm saying? But I was blessed. I was blessed to just have common sense. You know what I'm saying? I think it's just God and common sense. So it's crazy. Cause like, man. So in my apartment building where I lived, this is kind of smart but kind of stupid at the same time.
Does anyone still live there anymore? Or
no, well, they kicked everybody out. They got rid of the low income.
All right, so where was it? Exactly?
And it was on West Deer Park in Gaithersburg. Yeah. So, and in my building, there's 3 levels, right? So the top, the middle, and then the basement level. And on the back 2 apartments, they rented out this one apartment to like cook all their narcotics.
Nice.
And then across the hall, they would sell everything. And there was like this huge raid, and it was like, so shit like that happened all the time. You know what I mean? And I felt like maybe just because of the perception of me or something, like I didn't want to talk about these things because maybe they weren't believable. But then that's me letting other people who think I'm too nice not tell my story.
But it's also let's keep it a full 100, if you will. It's not just your niceness. It is the tone of your voice.
Yeah.
It is the color of your skin.
Of course it is.
These are all major factors that you think and have to think about.
Yes,
you end up thinking about.
It's incredible that you say this because I've like realized this, you know, especially just doing all these interviews and doing things like that. And on my mixtape, I talk about a lot about being black and white because I'm proud to be biracial. It's not about being one or the other. And on this album, I don't talk about race at all. What I realized I needed to focus on when telling the story and painting the picture is culture. That's it. It's not about being black, not about being white, not about authentic, not the, like, you know what I mean, based on skin color or, you know, how you look. It's about the story. It's about the culture of hip hop and where we come from, and that's what I tell them.
Did you get hit up after the BET Awards like, yo, you kind of nice for a white boy?
No.
You didn't get any white boy talk?
No. I think maybe 1 or 2 from random people on Twitter that had never seen me before.
Right. That's
but
what
for
I mean.
the most part, you know, like you were nice enough to you hit me up, you know, and we're like, man, that was crazy. Like, so I got a lot of those. Which was awesome.
My wife has never heard you before. I think because of my negative influence on her, she has a tendency to stray away from people who like don't appear black and are rapping because I'm such a hater. I used to be such a hater, and so when you came on, it said Gaithersburg, Maryland. So she looked at me and she was like, oh. And I was like, I know. So that's my guy. And so I just sat there and watched her watch you.
Wow.
And she loved you. The second you were done, she was like, yo. She loved you and OT Genesis.
Awesome.
Like 2
complete opposite. Yeah.
Either way, it was just I was very pleased to see that and made me think about how people are probably receiving you in general as we get up this album time.
That's what's amazing. Like I can totally see the difference. Like on a record that I have on the album called Buried Alive, that's a song that I like literally on it. That's where you can hear that my Outkast influence, and I do like the weird voice manipulation, like AT-aliens to make it sound aliens. And in me, it's like the angel and the devil on each shoulder, and I'm having this kind of confrontation between myself, like my conscious and my subconscious fighting and going back and forth, because it opens up and it says tell me how you feel. I feel like the grass is green and everything I do is unseen, but I know that's just in my mind. I know everything is just in my mind. And when I wrote that record, it was about me kind of feeling like how come I can't get the tweet from so and so or the cosign? Like I could tour all over the world and sell out shows and headline and this and that and da da da. Like how come I'm not getting it? How come? Not being a mad rapper, but being like what the hell? You know behind closed doors.
But it is interesting that that is the case.
No, but it was the case.
Was the case.
So yeah, that was a year ago. And then a homie of mine, she was like, dude, like the grass isn't always greener on the other side. I'm sure there's people out there with those cosigns and all these things that you want that are like, how come I can't tour the world? How come I don't have fans? How come I don't this?
Real fans.
Yes, and that really opened up my mind, and that's what made me write that record. And the crazy is, so it's called Buried Alive because it's like the more and more famous or known Logic becomes, it's like he's burying Bobby alive because less and less people know me for me. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of just coming to terms with and being patient and understanding that, you know, with time and focus and realism and talent, you can get to where you truly want to be. You just have to, and now it's all happening. Like I'm in Hot 97, you know what I'm saying? I'm on the BET Cypher. Like it's crazy. Like I'm running all around New York City. Every major publication wants to do something with me. You know what I'm saying? From the streaming services to iTunes to this to that. It's like I couldn't be happier. And I think it's because of the authenticity in the story and me finally just like.
Well, listen, it takes the realest stuff. Takes the longest to be appreciated, and in my opinion,
look at Drake. It's true.
Stuff takes a long time for people to like. If like you when you think about especially achieving great commercial success. Now, granted, there are rare exceptions. Like Nas was very famous and popular when he first came out, but for him to really reach his money success, it still took a long
People
time.
forget that. Like, everybody's so worried about first week sales. Like, this, first and foremost, 2014 is literally the worst year in music history for sales. So it's like Illmatic did, I believe, 59,000 copies in its first year, and it didn't go platinum until 2002, and it's regarded as one of the, if not the greatest hip-hop album of all time, debatably, you know what I mean? So, but it's crazy to me that everybody's so hung up on these things that don't matter. I'll never get that. Like,
the number for Illmatic was that low first week?
No, first year. First year, I swear to God.
Well, how long did they say it took to get platinum?
Till 2002.
Wow.
Yes, dude. So, but that's why it's so. But then you have somebody, for example, like Macklemore, who could do 75,000 first week. Now, 2 years ago, that was not good. That was whatever the case, you know, because you had somebody like Kendrick who did like 220, which was incredible. So, but Macklemore doing 75 was like horrible. Like, everybody's like, oh, whatever. But the music prevailed and went through, and he went on to go platinum. So it's like, it's a marathon, not a sprint. I think people forget that.
I think it did more than 59,000 the first year.
Bro, go look it up.
Are you sure?
I just read it last night.
But it was where'd you?
I was like, I'm gonna come here.
With a good statistic.
Yeah. No, I mean, just on the internet.
Because it was a big deal. I mean, that album was a big deal.
Of course.
But the money didn't come in. And I mean, listen, I'll tell you what didn't sell. Reasonable Doubt at first.
Oh, I know.
I was the only person I knew who went out and bought Reasonable Doubt. Now, granted, I was in Maryland, not in New York, where he definitely had more of a buzz. Of course, yeah. But in Maryland, in DC area, people didn't know No Jay until Ain't No. It didn't happen right away.
It takes time. I think that's just what a lot of people don't understand. And it's much more bigger than music. I mean, it's radio personality. It's like whatever you want to do in life, it just takes time. You have to be patient.
What I find very funny is that you were talking about how it took people a while to gravitate towards you. And I felt like by the time I hit you up, because you were from Maryland, I felt bad that I'd taken so long.
No, you were actually one of the first.
And now I realize, looking back, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. So you were you definitely were one of the first, because the first, I think.
But you were already, let me be clear, I did not reach out to you. I looked at the video, and the first time I saw the video, you already had hundreds of thousands, if not 1 million views.
It was actually, by the time you hit me, it was about 3 million on the one that you saw.
See? Oh, you remember which video it was, too?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It had millions.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. So I'm like, damn, I'm mad late.
No, but you weren't, man. Like, you were one of the first in the industry to reach out. So you got to understand that. Like, if it wasn't for Double XL put me on that cover, like, that was a major breakthrough for me in hip hop. And at first, of course, there was a lot of backlash. Who the hell is this white boy? Who's this? Who's that? And then people actually take the time to do their homework, and then they know what's up. That's why I'm so excited for this album. I could have went one of a million ways. Like, if you listen to the last, thank you. If you listen to the last mixtape, I mean, you know, there's some raw records. I'm rapping over Miss Jackson by Outkast, but then I also got records with Trinidad James and Kid Ink. And at that time, that was me just, you know, gauging, seeing what I could do, what's fun, just learning who I am. Miles Davis said, you play for a long time before you learn how to play like yourself. So on this album, I truly found who I wanted to be. So I could have went the radio route or whatever that might have been, but I decided to keep it honest, stay true to myself, tell my story, and give everybody a hip-hop album.
And now a very rare occurrence on Real Late. Ebro has stepped in the building. Yo, hold on, let me turn your mic. Hold on, try that.
Man, I'm just happy to be here, man. What's up, man?
Listen,
Real hip-hop, I'm here.
Welcome. Actually, you're just in time. We're going to get to him rhyming in a couple minutes here.
Indeed.
We just had a pretty good conversation about the, you know, sort of emergence of his career and how long it's taken and how it's really timed out nicely. And he's in a space now where people are pretty pumped about this album.
Yeah.
Well, production-wise, I hate to ask the generic question. We haven't gotten to that yet. Are there any names we know production-wise, or is this all your own people?
Yeah. I mean, DJ Dahi, he did Money Trees for Kendrick. He did Worst Behavior. Yeah. So he's dope. S1, Power for Kanye, and many other records like that. But a large majority of the album was produced by my in-house dude Six, who's from Maryland as well. Went to UND.
Yeah, of course.
And myself. And I think that's because nobody, like, I understood the vision, but it was no ID, like, executive.
I was going to say, what was his role?
From like a Quincy Jones to like a Michael Jackson. Like, he stepped back and like really opened my mind, you know what I'm saying, and allowed me to paint the picture that I wanted to paint. I mean, from opening up his home, his studio, all his musicians, the people who, you know, make Cocaine 80s and things like that, man. If it wasn't for that man, I wouldn't have been able to create such an album, which is incredible. And not just on the music side, but on the business side as well, because he was there to help me.
And by the way, the way you just said that, you feel like this album's pretty strong.
No, I know it's pretty strong. It's incredible.
Like you really,
it's an amazing album. If I didn't think it was fucking amazing, I wouldn't be here. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be up here telling you guys. And not to sound arrogant or anything, but it's like you gotta stand on your feet, man.
I think it's kind of overlooked No ID's involvement in hip hop over an entire generation, maybe two, right?
Yeah.
Can you talk about when you say from a Quincy Jones aspect, people, you know, you hear Quincy Jones, but you don't really know what that means, right? So talk about that sonically, right? Like we're on Real Late, you know, it's about the drums, you know what I mean? It's about bars.
Like, where did he?
The musicianship.
Of course. For me, it's crazy because like, even when I first, because it's been years now, so like when I first got it, I was thinking, oh man, like I'm gonna have all these no ID beats and da-da-da. I think that was kind of the general consensus. Like, but then as I grew as a young man and an artist, I'm like, whoa, it's not about a cosign. It's not about just no ID beats. It's about my vision and my story, making an incredible album. And he taught me that. You know what I'm saying? So you might have like a YG and Mustard who have created this incredible sound, and Mustard's on like every record, and it's dope. But with No ID, it was more so the conversations. You know what I mean? It'd be like, I want you to do a song about driving in a car. And I'm like, well, okay. He's like, yeah, driving. I'm like, what, driving around the city? He's like, nah, 1 block. And I'm like, what?
But that's a concept. So now you guys are starting to talk about a concept.
Yeah, concepts.
Yourself in a mindset that now creates a record. I don't think a lot of people put that kind of, I guess, thought into the creation. And so a lot of times you hear people talk about a Quincy Jones, or you hear people talk about No ID or Kanye or whoever's produced, even Diddy, where they walk in the studio and you're like, okay, yeah, I got a No ID beat, but what am I going to do with it?
Yes.
That's going to make it spectacular and stand out. I think that's sometimes not really discussed about what a producer really does for somebody.
Definitely. And that, you're 100% right. And I think that's why I'm here, you know, to talk about this and let it be known. Because, I mean, he did a lot of things for a lot of people. You know, like Big Sean, one of the more recents, you know, he helped break Sean. You know what I mean? And it's they created an incredible album. So for me, having him there, it really meant the world. You know, because sure, he's a legend, but like once you kind of not get past that, but you know who he is personally and all this, like you realize like he's just an incredible dude who just loves to make good music. And now being an exec, you know, at Def Jam, he's really changing things over there. And I'm kind of the guinea pig, but it's okay. I'm cool with that.
Do you have any expectations? I know we just talked about that. You know, what Illmatic not selling that much first week, blah, blah, blah. However, that being said, do you have expectations in your mind of what you think you'll do first week? Because I think you're an interesting one in terms of the real build you've had online, the touring, all this stuff has happened for you.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm just curious what you think happens Tuesday.
I don't know. It's never like there's never been an artist like this in this situation with this weird kind of like entrance to hip hop, and like I don't know, but I know it's gonna be great, and I know it's a marathon, not a sprint. So I don't know. I don't even really want to talk numbers.
Like what kind of like ticket sales or your concerts?
Oh, 2,000 plus.
2,000 plus.
Yeah, and that's from the mixtapes.
And how many of those have you done?
Oh, plenty. Yeah, I've toured
20, 40, 60?
I've toured. Well, I've done 3 national tours, a European tour, and then I toured with Cudi. So
you're talking. You've touched 150,000 people.
Yeah, collectively around that, especially with the college tours. Yes.
So I mean, there's a good, you know, getting 50% of those people to buy an album.
Yeah, man.
That's a good number.
I think that could happen, I think we'll be having. Now, listen, I'm notoriously wrong on this.
Oh, that's okay.
For someone who fancies myself to be a bit of a hip hop aficionado, Kendrick Lamar walked in here first week. They said, "What do you think the album's gonna do?" I was like, "I mean, you might do 100." And Top Dog started laughing, and I was like, "Well, I don't know, 100,000 is what I think." And then, of course, it ended up selling, 230.
But and it's a different time though, because like Schoolboy, for example, did more pre-order than Kendrick did on his first album. Yeah. But he did like 136, which is still around there, which is an incredible number. Incredible. But it's like 2 years ago ain't today. So for example, like if Schoolboy would have done that pre-order 2 years ago, it would have been even more. So it's not to discredit the talent or the music, it's just the era and time, man. People don't buy music anymore.
This year, and like you mentioned earlier,
it's literally the worst.
It's insane. I mean, you're talking about if your name isn't Miley, Katy,
Drake,
Taylor, Drake, Beyonce, we're under 10 artists that are coming out of the gate and truly selling albums.
Yeah.
Well, who else has come out that matters? That should have sold more.
Cole.
I
mean, personally, Cole. You know what I'm saying? Even Gambino. Like, I mean, especially Gambino as a super.
But Gambino did sell.
Yeah,
he's up to 300,000.
Oh, of course. Don't get me wrong. But like, he's dropping.
He had a slow growth.
Yeah, but he's dropping like platinum sounding records. So I believe, but it's just I mean, my man is a writer, an actor, and like everybody knows him. He walks down the street and gets recognized.
But that doesn't mean that somebody's gonna buy your music. And
the music's good though.
But that doesn't mean. Listen, man, there's people who like a lot of people online, but that doesn't mean they're gonna buy your album. That doesn't mean they're gonna go to your show.
Very true.
They might double tap on a photo, and that don't mean, you know what I'm saying?
That's exactly the point, though, and that's what the whole situation is different. Because if we go 20 years ago, and you look at albums, you and I can reminisce on hip hop albums we love that we would laugh thinking about the fact probably plaques in this room.
Yes.
That you're like, they went gold, that went platinum. Everyone
Where's
Eminem.
My OB Trice.
About to say, everyone Eminem went like this too. Platinum.
He didn't even do that. He just breathed.
But it's different times because back then it was radio and television. Like that's it. I mean, besides New York and then being on the streets and the mixtapes.
No, that's it.
But it was just television. So now, like, nobody watches TV. Nobody does. If you can watch anything you want at any moment right now for free, or listen to anything you want right now for free, what are you gonna do? Or go to the radio and like people tune into New York radio because of this, of what's going on, like conversations and like just being hip hop heads and loving it. Exactly. But other parts of the country, it's not really like that, you know, besides LA and like just certain places. But it's like, dude, nobody gives a damn.
Let me ask you guys another question. You brought up Kendrick and Schoolboy, who represent a how do I say, like almost like a regime change from a region. Like that was a significant, like, okay, there's these two cats out of Los Angeles from the hood that are representing a new movement now. And, you know, when you come out of Los Angeles, you know, you get embraced by any and everything around there, all the way to San Diego, to Phoenix, to up to the Bay, I mean, there's a lot of people. You're from Maryland. Do you get embraced by that area wholeheartedly because you're a representative? Because there's some areas they're not as emphatic and passionate.
DC is notoriously not emphatic.
I actually had to leave so that I could blow up, which is funny. So, but the difference.
But that might, you know.
No, but that may
bode well for you, or it may.
It did. It was incredible because I'm not your typical hip hop artist. For me, it's not like, oh, did you hear so and so's joint or da da da. Like, I'm not that guy. I'm the guy who went out and franchised like Fight Club and went from city to city and tour to tour to a massive fan base personally over the years. Based on, I don't know, maybe like.
What was the first thing? What did you say? Finish.
No, I was just saying based on maybe just the fact that I wouldn't be accepted by hip hop because of maybe how I looked or it was a different time.
What was this is the thing that's still I find interesting. What was it at first that got you to those 3 million views? Because the thing is, he initially dropped these videos when I had no idea who he was. Someone tweeted me and goes, there's a dude from Maryland. Why aren't you repping him? And I click on the link, and this guy's already got millions of views, and I can tell, not fake. Legitimate people are checking out his stuff. What do you think it was that got you over that? I think I tried to ask you that last time. Like, got you over that first hump? Because
being a nice guy and rapping good. It's that simple. It's kids, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, people of all ages, but definitely the younger demographic, looking at me and feeling as though they can relate. Any color, any creed, any religion, any whatever, just looking at me and going, damn, here's a dude who wants to. That's why on these mixtapes, I was rapping to the listener like they were my best friend. Like, man, I gotta make it. Like, this shit is crazy. I gotta blow up. I gotta this. And it's like I'm telling them, I'm explaining all the things. Like, I literally have a record on my last mixtape that goes, I got a show in LA Sunday, then New York Monday, looking at the BET cypher like I'll be there one day. And then I'm here, and all my fans are like, oh my God, you did it. So that's why on this album, it's like the mixtapes, I was talking to you like Logic rapping to his homie about his come up. On the album, I'm talking to everybody in hip hop, outside of hip hop, just about who I am and personally the struggles that I went through to be here today. So that's the difference, the graduation, you know, the growth, the maturity, and I'm excited. They've grown with me.
No, that's the way to do it. Yeah. They're invested.
Yes,
you know,
they are invested.
Has the artist Louis Logic come for you yet?
No, he hasn't.
He's coming.
Who's that?
He's an old underground artist.
Like but shout out to him. Peace and love. Don't get it twisted.
Late 90s. He's like a late 90s indie artist.
You took his name.
Louis, I got him for you.
Oh God.
No, hey, how about this? I'm gonna set it off like this, ladies and gentlemen. It is real late on Hot 97.
Bars now.
Logic is here.
Oh man.
All right, Ebro is here. So you know it's a special real late moment. Hold on, let me see how this.
Let me
works.
get a few.
Yeah. Oh, we taking it back. Can I get this louder?
Halftime.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there we go.
You got it up.
My goodness. Yeah.
Extra P, what up?
This is crazy. Let's turn this beat up just a little bit.
All right.
Oh man.
If you still on that SP12, what's good?
Check it, yeah.
Logic, real late, Hot 97, let's go.
Hey yo, check the verse, gotta make it count. Won't speak on my bank account, so many commas I have to pause, and I can't afford to just waste the bars. I'm spitting this venom, strictly off the T.O.P. How we do it, NYC, L-O-G-I-C. I'm reppin' MD, yes, y'all know the deal. We keep it real, that's all the time. Hella sublime, I represent for the city. Can you feel me off the top? It's never written, cause that shit is forbidden. I gotta spit it hella crazy, feeling hella lazy. Cause I was out at this listening party last night, shorty's getting naughty. Goddamn, all lordy, I'm just having fun. I'm just having a good time. Visionary, paint the picture like Pictionary. I'm fucking your bitch, maybe missionary. Goddamn, just having a good time. Spitting sublime, can you feel it? Rosenberg, homie, that's the word. I gotta get it like this. October 21st with the illest verse dispersed. I got it under pressure. It's never lesser, it's always on this. Shout out to Big Nas, Nasir Jones, going through your headphones. This is how we spit it, this is how we do it all night, late night. Let me get it, L-O-G-I-C, we got it right, yeah. Oh, we go. Oh, we still going.
Let's do one more.
Let's do one more. Okay.
His name is Logic. And by the way, I give you full permission if you want to spit a written. You just want to spit some.
Feel my energy. I ain't talking E-N-E-I-G-Y. I mean energy. That's the shit they never see. But I hold supremacy. Number one, I better be. Bitch, I said I bet I be. Take my kindness for weakness, trying to get the better of me. Tell me how is they gonna remember me as the artist that can pocket the perfect recipe, or will they be addressing me, talking less of me just cause I was different, just cause I was doing what I love. And the fans say they love you, but they push and they shove cause they want what they want, how they want, when they want it. I just gave them 20 songs, now they want another 100. I just see it as a challenge, I could do it, bitch, I run it. Worldwide tours, type of shit I always wanted, while the rest of them just worry about bitches and getting blunted. Say that same motherfucker from that YS1, only difference now I'm stronger when I begun. Let me get it, let me spit it, let me do it all night. This is how we do it, gotta keep it hella right, yeah.
Yo, shout out to the Wee-Way section. Shout out to the Hooterville section.
Yo, Logic, ladies and gentlemen, his album is in the stores.
Thank you so much.
Album is out this Tuesday. It's called Under Pressure. It's on Def Jam
and Visionary Music Group. Visa.
Maryland, I'm proud of you, man. Maryland, stand up.
Thank you so much.
It's Logic, real late. Ebro, thanks, bro.
Hey, man, it was fun.
Thank you.
I go row.
No.